If your dog just had a blowout on the kitchen floor and you're sitting on your phone right now typing how to stop dog diarrhea fast, I need you to hear one thing before you spend a dime. The single most dangerous part of acute diarrhea isn't the mess and it isn't the bug that caused it. It's dehydration, fluid and electrolytes leaving your dog faster than he can take them back in. And it is the reason a manageable stomach upset can turn into a limp, sunken-eyed emergency in a small breed or senior dog within a day. And the internet's favourite fix for it, 2 little drops of a flower remedy from a brown glass bottle, is, and I'm going to prove this to you in the next few minutes, brandy scented water. I'm Dr. Rachel Nolan, a small animal vet. I've spent thousands of appointments watching pet parents miss the same warning signs. So I made this channel to teach you the ones that actually save your dog's life. So stay with me because there is a real tool that belongs in that bowl. It just isn't the one you were sold. Here's the first thing most owners get wrong. That cure it in hours promise. The best control data we have says acute diarrhea in dogs takes days to resolve, not hours. In a University of Florida trial I'll walk you through, formed stool came back in 3.5 to nearly 5 days. Days. Anyone selling you a 2-drop fix in 3 hours is selling you the calendar, not a medicine. Second, roughly 89% of dogs with acute diarrhea get better no matter what you give them. Kibble water, prescription antibiotic, a sugar pill, the recovery rate barely moves, which means most of the miracle cures online are quietly taking credit for something your dog's own gut was already going to do. Third, and this is the one that stings, the remedy in your search results with the biggest fan base, Bark's Rescue Remedy, has been through 7 controlled trials, and every properly blinded one failed to beat placebo. Not the science is early. Failed. And fourth, the part that decides whether tonight ends at home or at an emergency clinic, there are 4 signs that mean no home remedy on earth is the right answer. And I see owners talk themselves out of every one of them. I'll give you all 4 before we finish. So your dog's gut right now isn't a problem you cure. It's a self-limiting event you either support gently or dangerously ignore. One small shift in how you think about that changes everything you do next. Let me say the quiet part out loud because you were misled, not foolish. The whole just add 2 drops genre leans on rescue remedy, and here is what's actually in that bottle. It's a 50-50 water and brandy mother tincture, diluted so far that on the chemistry you're lucky to have a single molecule of the original plant left. The 5 ingredients, rock rose, impatiens, clematis, star of Bethlehem, and cherry plum, were chosen in the 19 teens by an English physician named Edward Bark, based on his belief that a flower's dew could carry an emotional imprint. It's a lovely idea. It is not medicine. Professor Edzard Ernst reviewed the trials in Swiss Medical Weekly in 2010, and his conclusion was blunt. The most reliable clinical trials show no difference between flower remedies and placebos. Cancer Research UK put it even plainer. There's no scientific evidence flower remedies can control, cure, or prevent any disease. So when your dog calms down and the stool firms up a few hours after the drops, that isn't the remedy. That's the 89%. That's his gut doing what it was always going to do, while a bottle takes the bow. Here's the trap most owners fall into. They treat the drops of the intervention, feel reassured, and wait. And waiting is exactly the thing that turns a mild case into a fluid emergency. Now, there is a real ingredient in this conversation, and I don't want the nonsense to bury it. It's slippery elm, Ulmus rubra, sometimes called red elm, and specifically the powdered inner bark. Here's how it works, and this part is genuine biology, not belief. The inner bark is packed with mucilage, long-chain polysaccharides that the moment they meet water, hydrate and swell into a thick, slick gel. Swallowed, that gel adheres to and coats the mucous membranes lining the digestive tract. Think of an inflamed, irritated gut wall getting a soft, soothing film laid over it, a physical barrier that calms the surface while the underlying upset settles. That's a mechanism you can actually point to, which is more than rescue remedy can ever say. But I'm going to keep myself honest with you, because that's the whole point of this channel. Slippery elm's evidence is traditional, not clinical. There are no large-scale trials proving it stops diarrhea. It's classified as GRAS, generally recognised as safe, and the FDA formally recognises it for exactly one thing: soothing a sore throat. It is not approved as a therapy for any disease. As one evidence-focused vet put it, it's a plausible treatment, but one with no specific mechanism we can confidently credit for the benefit. So I use it the way it deserves to be used, as a gentle comfort measure for a mild, self-limiting case. Not as a cure, not as a reason to skip the vet when the vet is what's needed. Let me show you what this looks like in practice, because the theory only matters at the bowl. A few years back, I had a client, a beagle mix named Biscuit, about 22 pounds, middle-aged, otherwise healthy. Classic story, got into the trash Sunday night, loose stool by Monday morning. The owner had already dosed him twice with a flower remedy off a wellness blog and was frantic that it wasn't working fast enough. And that's the tell. It was never going to work fast because it doesn't work at all. What Biscuit actually needed was simple. We rested his gut, got fluids into him, laid a little slippery elm gruel over that irritated lining, and moved him onto a bland diet. Formed stool inside about 3 days, right on the timeline the science predicts. The owner swore it was a miracle. It wasn't. It was patience plus support, doing exactly what patience plus support does. Contrast that with a case I think about often. A little senior dachshund, maybe 12 pounds, same presenting complaint, diarrhea, and the owner, God bless her, was doing the responsible thing as she understood it. Home remedies, waiting a towel, giving it time. But this dog had blood in the stool and had gone quiet and flat, and those are not wait it out signs. By the time she came in, he was significantly dehydrated. He was fine, we caught it, but he needed IV fluids, not a teaspoon of anything. The remedy hadn't hurt him. The waiting nearly did. That contrast is the entire lesson. In the first dog, home support was the right call and the timeline was normal. In the second, home support was a trap, and the only correct move was the door. Knowing which dog you have in front of you is the actual skill here, far more than any ingredient. The University of Florida trial I mentioned is worth sitting with for a second, because it's the backbone of everything I just told you. Dr. John Schmalberg and his team, 2019, published in Frontiers in Veterinary Science, 60 dogs with acute diarrhea, 20 per group, randomized and double-blind. One group got a probiotic, one got metronidazole, a common antibiotic, and one got placebo. Time to a formed stool, 3.5 days on the probiotic, 4.6 on the antibiotic, 4.8 on the placebo. The difference between them was not statistically significant. Their own words, much of the treatment of acute canine diarrhea remains empiric and confounded by the self-limiting nature of the condition. Translation, the dog's body is doing most of the work and we're all standing around it taking notes. So here's what I'd actually do at home tonight for a mild case in an otherwise healthy adult dog. 3 moving parts, and none of them are drops. First, rest the gut. For a healthy adult, not a puppy, not a frail senior, a short fast of 12 to 24 hours, water always available, gives an inflamed gut a chance to quiet down. Puppies and seniors don't get fasted, they need calories and can crash. When in doubt, skip this step and call. Second, the slippery elm, the real ingredient behind that clickable title. Get plain, powdered inner bark. The dose is about a 1/4 teaspoon of powder per 10 pounds of body weight. Mix it into cold water until you've got a moderately thick gruel and give it to your dog. If you'd rather make a syrup, simmer 1 teaspoon of powder in 1/2 cup of cold water for a minute or 2, then give 1 teaspoon of that syrup per 10 pounds about 5 minutes before food. If you're using capsules instead, the common figure is 100 milligrams per 10 pounds, 2 to 4 times a day. 2 real cautions, because I promised you honest, slippery elm's gel can bind up other medications and minerals and blunt their absorption. So if your dog is on any prescription, space the elm and the meds a couple of hours apart. And it runs high in magnesium and ash, so in a dog prone to struvite bladder crystals, I'd check with your own vet first. Third, hydration, which is where the warm cup in that title actually earns its place. A little plain, unsalted bone broth is genuinely useful here, but understand what it's doing. It's replacing fluid and electrolytes and tempting a queasy dog to drink. It is not halting the diarrhea, it's keeping your dog out of the dehydration hole while his gut sorts itself out. Warm it, offer it, let him sip. Once he's ready for food, go bland, a 1-to-1 mix of boiled plain chicken and white rice, roughly 2 tablespoons of the mix per 10 pounds of body weight every 2 to 3 hours on day 1, then eased back toward normal over 3 to 5 days. If you want to take it one notch further, here's what I do for my own household. I keep the powdered slippery elm in the cupboard already before anyone needs it. Mix fresh, that gruel takes 90 seconds, and the worst time to be hunting for an ingredient is at 11 at night with a sick dog. I'll also start a food and symptom note on my phone from the first loose stool: what went in, when, and what came out. Not for me, for your vet, if this crosses into vet territory. A clean 48-hour timeline turns a guessing game into a diagnosis, and it's the single most useful thing an owner can hand me at the door. Now, the part I will not let you skip, because this is where home care ends and I want you in a clinic. Home remedies are for mild, self-limiting cases only. You go to the vet, not the cupboard, if any one of these is true. Blood in the stool, whether it's bright red or looks like dark coffee grounds, that's a call, not a wait. Vomiting alongside the diarrhea. Fluid is now leaving from both ends and dehydration accelerates fast. Lethargy, a dog who's gone flat, weak, unwilling to lift his head, or whose gums have gone pale. That's a dog who needs fluids you cannot give from a bowl. And the clock, diarrhea that pushes past 48 to 72 hours, even if he seems okay otherwise. That's the threshold Dr. Carly Fox, a senior emergency vet at the Schwartzman Animal Medical Center in New York, draws in the AKC's own guidance, and it's the one I hold my own clients to. Puppies, seniors, and tiny breeds get less rope than that because they have less reserve to lose. None of these are try the drops first situations. They're door situations. So here's the honest version of the video you clicked on. There's no 2-drop miracle. The flower remedy is water and brandy with a good story. What genuinely helps a mild case is unglamorous and real. Rest the gut, coat it with a little slippery elm, keep him hydrated with broth, feed him bland, and above all, know the 4 red lines that mean you stop playing home vet and go. That's not a downgrade from the miracle, that's the actual skill, and it's the thing that keeps your dog out of the emergency room instead of dressing up the weight that lands him there. Do that, and you're doing something maybe 5% of dog owners ever learn to do. Treat the mild case calmly and catch the dangerous. 1. Early. That's not luck. That's a pet parent who pays attention. If Dr. Rachel just saved you a panicked midnight search and maybe a $200 visit for something that would have resolved on its own, hit that like button so YouTube shows this to the next owner staring at a mess on the floor, and subscribe. I put a new one of these out every few days. Tell me in the comments, what did the internet sell you as a miracle that turned out to be nothing? I read them all. And give your dog a big kiss for me.